Welcome to the Build on Beauty podcast, where beauty is born skin deep. Now, here's your host, author, speaker, entrepreneur, Cornell Jermaine.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. I have a very special guest with me. She is an entrepreneur, hair stylist, and salon owner. Please help me welcome Miss Gocha Hawkins. Gocha, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Doing well. Thank you for being with us. There's so much that we can and will talk about, but I want to start. You have had 20 years in the hair industry with an amazing career. Let's start from the beginning. When did Gocha first know that she wanted to be a hairstylist?
It was probably back in 1993, 94. I didn't never have this idea as I was growing up. So it's just, I went through some challenges in my life, and so I decided to go to school for hair and try to create a different revenue of income.
Okay. Now you have 20 years in the industry, 19 as a salon owner, which is remarkable because for most in the industry, usually being a salon owner is something that you do later in your career when you're ready to kind of leverage your experience. But you did this with, I guess, 1 year in the industry. What sparked you to become a salon owner so early in your career?
Because I've always been a leader, and I've always wanted to just be an entrepreneur or self-employed. And so once I got into the business of doing hair, I realized that I could definitely own my own salon. And with the help of my dad, I was able to finance furniture and things like that. And I opened up my own salon.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, you have a salon right now in Atlanta, Georgia, the Buckhead area. And from what I've researched, you're actually a native of Detroit, Michigan, which is the hair capital. Why Atlanta? Why not Detroit?
Well, being that I'm from Detroit, I've been all over the place. I went to school at Alabama State. I moved to Florida. I've been in Miami. So I've been all over the place. But Atlanta just happens to be like that growing city. It was like the new Hollywood. There are movies being shot here, all type of production companies are here. All the reality shows are shot here. So it was a lot of opportunity here in Atlanta, and I definitely want to be in the midst of that opportunity. Okay.
I totally understand that. Now, as it's been known in the past, and I'm not sure if it's still current, but Detroit is the hair capital. Can you say that Detroit had a big role or being around those stylists in that day? Did that play a role in your artistry now?
I don't think so. I actually had a young lady who was in my cosmetology class, and she actually was from Alabama, and she was really talented with weave, extensions and things like that. And so she showed me the ropes for extensions for sure, but the rest of it was just drive. I was just determined to make something out of going to school. And I actually developed a passion because when I first went to hair school, it was not a passion at all. I was simply going because I wanted to create a different stream of revenue. And so once I got in school and got around this young lady, she showed me so much that I actually, I developed a passion for it. And so that's where all my creativity started from, doing hair extensions. And then over the years, I started adding different skill sets to my craft, and, I became more diverse. And so I just took a little of this, a little of that, and that's who I am now.
Right, that's right. Now, I believe congratulations is in order because it's my understanding that you are the first ever creative director for Atlanta. Speaking of Atlanta, Atlanta's International Fashion Week. How did this come about?
Well, being creative director, I have a director that's in my salon, and what he does on a daily basis is he pitches me to different events and things like that, and try to get people to, work with us. And so this Atlanta International Fashion Week, they have never had a creative director in the 10 years that they've been doing Fashion Week. So when they got my information and they saw, all the people that I've worked with, and the work that I've done and, the different affiliates, they were definitely interested, and they called, and they, definitely wanted to have a meeting, and we went, and from there the rest is history. So I'm excited to be creative director for the first time in 10 years for their show.
Wow, that's I'm sure going to be an amazing experience. Can you give us some insight? What is that job? Yeah, what is that job duty? What will be your responsibilities as creative director?
Responsibility as creative director will be putting all the teams together as far as hair, makeup, and wardrobe, and also creating the direction for the feel of the show, making sure that the collaboration with hair, makeup, and wardrobe is a collective collaboration, making sure that everything works in sync with each other.
Wow, that's a big job, because you have to not only make sure your makeup hair team is on point, but you have to make sure that they're coinciding with the vision for the wardrobe stylist or the brands that are represented. That's going to be amazing. Wow.
Yeah. That's a big project.
Yeah, big, and I know you can handle it. In your experience, what's the difference working with celebrities versus just your average everyday salon client? Is there a difference?
Well, there is some difference in the capacity that your celebrities, they're more demanding, more kind of right now situation. Versus your regular everyday clients. They're more like, I'm going to make an appointment, and they're more so, what's your availability? The celebrity is more about you trying to work around their schedule. Probably most of the celebrities, they mostly want things for free versus your regular clients. They expect to pay. Your celebrity clients, they don't expect to pay. So
wow.
It's a big, very demanding. They're very demanding. I mean, I've had some of the best, and I've had some I wouldn't care to work with anymore. But I guess it has its ups and downs. Pros and cons. I guess you would say. But for the most part, they're just really normal people, just like any of us, but the money and the fame kind of makes a difference.
Okay. And I think that's important, because I know we have some college or cosmetology students that are listening, and I want to hone in on that a little bit more. So for those that have this dream of being in LA and on these big platforms doing all the celebrities, you're pretty much saying that when you decide you want to go into that arena, make sure you know what's going to be going on, because you have pretty much people who are able to pay, but they feel like they don't have to, so you have to kind of know that it's not going to be you're going to walk in and be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just out the gate. This is something that you have to leverage, would you say?
Yes, for sure. What I want to say is that it depends on what part of your career you are in when it comes to paying or not paying opportunity versus no opportunity. I today still will take some things if it's an opportunity, not necessarily just doing hair for free, but sometimes there's a bigger opportunity. And so it may require me to, not get compensated for it, but I'll get compensated in other ways. Maybe there's an opportunity to work on a bigger project that is getting paid or something like that. So there are things like people who are on Instagram just celebrities who want their hair done, and then people say, oh, I'll shout you out if you do my hair for free. No, to me, that's not an incentive for me to say, okay, I will do your hair for free and you shout me out. No, that's not a big enough compensation or a big enough opportunity for me. I'm talking about bigger opportunities or, bigger endorsements and things like that. So not just a shout out on Instagram. That's not what I'm speaking of when, if you're going to do something for free.
Okay. And you got to kind of have that, you got to kind of know what you want out of it before you even step into the opportunity.
Exactly.
Okay, exactly. I get that.
Because the thing about it, when you start doing free hair, the industry is so small that it's all word of mouth. So if you did one artist hair for free and she referred you to her friend, that friend is going to expect you to do her hair for free. So no one's ever going to respect you enough to pay you.
Okay. That's good. Now, you've been a TV personality, and I'm assuming you're going to be back with the cast, hopefully. LA Hair, WeTV's LA Hair. I have witnessed that show and watched it. I enjoyed every minute of it. Give us some insight. How did that opportunity come about?
Well, that opportunity came about. It was a young guy who was actually auditioning for the show, and he actually, I guess they asked him, did he know anyone else who was interested or would be interested in the show? He referred me to the casting agency. They reached out to me and, did several interviews, and from there, the rest is history. Well, actually, that was for Atlanta Hair. But then they came back after we signed contracts for Atlanta Hair. They came back and said, well, we're going to put Atlanta Hair on hold. Can you come to L.A. and film for L.A. Hair? And at that time, I was kind of like, I don't know, because, it depends on how long, you guys are going to be filming and all that. And then they told me it would be like 6 weeks. So they said 6 weeks. I was like, all right, well, send me the paperwork, whatever. And I sent it to my attorney, and I did. And then it was supposed to be 6 weeks, and it turned out to be 8 months. So it was a big adjustment. But, I went on, and the show was great, That was the highest ratings they've ever had. And it was more interesting. So it was great.
It was, because I watched the show since its conception, and it was much more interesting. I'm not sure if it was just your character, but I think it was just the energy from all the characters that really made it more interesting.
Yeah.
But give us some insight.
Yeah.
Give us some insight into that how that works, because I know a lot of people who are here, they're always wondering, well, okay, do they work for Kim or how? And I said, well, I know Gocha, because I've heard of you from friends and family who relocated to Atlanta, and they just naming all the hot stylists, and your name was constantly in the buzz, but I never knew who you were until the show, So I said, I think she's from Atlanta, So I was telling them this. So give us some insight into that whole platform. How does that work? Do all the stylists work for the show, or is it just, how does that go about?
Well, actually, the ones that you actually see on the TV, those are the ones who are actually cast members for the show. Kim did have people who worked in the salon, but those are not the ones that you actually see, like the main people. So the people that are actually cast members, we're casted for the show itself and not actually to work in the salon.
Okay, I see. Okay, that gives us a lot of clarity, because I think a lot of people get confused with that. But either way, it's a great show. Now, from your experience, have you built any bonds or strong friendships from that show?
Yeah, I'm actually cool with everyone on the show for the most part. We we have some issues, but there's nothing that can't be, fixed. So for the most part, we're all pretty cool.
Okay. So will you be joining this next season coming up?
I will, definitely.
Okay, cool. We look forward to watching. Now, on the flip side, you have a nonprofit organization called Gocha Illumination Foundation, which helps young ladies who have been victims of sexual and physical abuse. What brought this particular mission about in your career?
Well, most of the things that my foundation stands for are things that I directly have experienced. So it was something that when I was younger and I was going through the things that I was going through, I didn't have a voice. I reached out to people to explain or, try to tell them what I was going through, and it wasn't believable. And so I wanted, every child to have a voice and be able to get the help that that's needed in order to, have coping skills in life. Because, a lot of times you go through life and counseling is so expensive that you can't afford to have counseling. So you go through life with all these problems that have occurred when you were growing up, and they haven't been, the fire hasn't been put out. So you make all these decisions and wrong moves because of the things that you've dealt with. So I want to try to get kids counseling as quickly as possible to kind of get them on the right track, of getting their self-esteem back, realizing it's not your fault, and, just building them back up. And the best thing to do is build them up from the inside out. All the rest of the stuff can be fixed, but getting that inside is the most important thing. So that's why I provide free counseling, because that's something that it's just so expensive and it's hard to get. So that's what we stand for. We want to make sure that we can reach everyone, with the right skills.
That's great. And this program is for males and female children?
It is.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear because a lot of people think programs like this, they automatically think of the female or the young girl as the victim, but they don't realize that young male children go through this type of thing as well.
I
think that's
sure.
something. Yeah, and sometimes more often than they really realize. So I think that's important for the people to know.
Yeah.
Now let's talk hairstyling for a minute, because I can't come on and share and not talk about your craft. So I know that you are extension specialist, color specialist. That's one of the things when I used to hear your name in the buzz, they just always talk about the colors. They all shoot these colors. And I want to say I learned of that before it became popular, because now a lot of people are doing the colors and, bright colors. But I remember hearing of your name associated with that before, we kind of saw it on Instagram and a lot of people doing it. Give us some key tips for young ladies who are thinking of or who want to explore the color wheel. What things would you say they should be doing so they can maintain their integrity, of their hair, not break it off with bleach and all that stuff?
Well, first thing, they should be consulting a professional. That's first off. And that's the first thing. They need to be seeing a professional. And secondly, they need to take in consideration the dryness, providing moisture for the hair, different water conditions that affects your color, your job, your livelihood, like, can I wear this, depending on my profession, just your attitude, how you carry yourself. There's a lot of different factors when you're considering color. But the most thing, you need to have the personality to be able to pull any color. Because a lot of people say, if you wear red hair or something, you're ghetto. And I tell people all the time, like, so you're saying that because I wear red hair, I'm ghetto. I think that ghetto is a classification of how you carry yourself. And I don't think by far that I'm ghetto. I think that I'm very diverse and intelligent. And I think that my personality, carries me over as far as I can wear any color that I choose to wear, and not be ghetto. But it's just unfortunate that a lot of people, when they look at you based on the color of your hair, they put you in a certain class, So
I agree, because it's really all about how you carry yourself. And if you carry yourself like a ghetto young lady or chick, that's what you're going to perceive, whether your hair is red, black, or blue, So I totally agree with that. But I'm glad you mentioned consulting the professional, because with this day and age of the YouTube sensations and everybody's a professional just because they have a video. What's your take on this? Because everybody and their mama is on YouTube, and then they're going to their stylist telling them what to do based on somebody who's not even a professional on YouTube. How do you cope with that?
I think YouTube is, I think it has its goods and, it's good and it's bad. I mean, because some people like myself who are hairstylists, most of the things that are on there, we know that you're not divulging all the information that needs to be put out for people who are not professional stylists, who doesn't know better. So that is the only downside to me as far as YouTube, is that people who aren't professionals, who are just everyday people looking at YouTube, they don't know everything that goes along with these styles or colors or things like that, to be able to create them without any hair damage or anything. So if you're a professional and you're looking at it, you saying, oh, she forgot to base the hair, or she, forgot to tell them to add oil to the light, certain things like that.
Great. So before we get out of here, I'm a firm believer that life always teaches us a lesson, or is always desiring to lesson, open enough to receive it. Can you tell me, what has Gocha learned? Not Gocha the entrepreneur or the hairstylist, but Gocha just the woman. What have you learned in this journey of your life?
Well, I've learned for sure not to take anything for granted. That when you're younger, you make mistakes in life, and just because you're young does not mean that you're not going to pay for those consequences for the rest of your life. So, they always say that, oh, you're young, you have plenty of time, you make mistakes and do this. Well, some of those mistakes that you make were going to follow you for the rest of your life. So I have learned to try to instill in, myself and other people that to treat people how you want to be treated. That's very important to me, and that's the main thing. Treat people how you want to be treated. I think that will solve a lot of our issues, these days, that if people were to treat people how, they wanted to be treated, then we would not have so many issues that we have out here these days.
It kind of supports the old, the Bible saying, love your neighbor as yourself, So if you want to be loved that way, then you love them that way. So treat people and love them how you want to be treated. That's good. I like that. Any last closing remarks or advice to our future stylists or future professionals?
Yes, just be like, whatever your craft is, be consistent, be passionate, and dedicated.
There you have it. Well, thanks so much for joining us here. This has been the Build on Beauty podcast, where beauty is born skin deep. I'm your host, Cornell Jermaine. Until next time, let your soul be made whole. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Build on Beauty podcast. For more information about our host, please visit cornelljermaine.com.